Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. This is Monday night, and it's the 21st, I believe. I'm preparing to go to bed. It's kind of late. I've been doing some things that keep me busy today, but at the same time, I've been contemplating what message can I share with you that can make this a worthwhile moment. What I've concluded, ladies and gentlemen, is that there is something that's very essential and basic involved in our community, in our society. And it's a distraction, it's a ripoff, it's a con. And let me see if I can make it a little clearer. If we think about life and why life is so important, we also think about death and why we want to stay away from it. Well, basically because it's so foreign to us. We don't know that much about it, and everything we know sometimes usually is negative, or we just don't want to know. It's let it be a mystery. You know, it almost seems like peace for all people. It's like that. It's almost like death. Everybody know they're gonna die, but they want to stay away from it as long as they possibly can. Everybody say they want peace, but they do nothing to promote it. Or should I say they don't do those things that would cause it to be. This is because something else happened in the lives of our family, our social order. What really took place, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Now, I think I'm going to try to just tell it to you directly. I'm not going to try to set it up. I'm just going to tell it to you like it is. I'm not going to try to force you to believe it. I'm just going to tell it to you like it is. This is God's earth. God made this earth. God is responsible for every human being that's on this earth. Every human being on this earth is put here to be a representation of God, a gift from God to humankind through humankind. In order for this stuff to actually occur in the fashion that it is supposed to, it must adhere to certain basic principles that promote love. And they aren't that many. One is that you recognize that the highest power, you can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't conjure up as a more imagination. So it's something spiritual. So that means no man, you give no man, no human being authority over you. You got authority over yourself and you give it to nobody. And the only one that has it, you don't give it to them. They got it. And that's God. That being the case, every last one of you are just like that. Totally committed to God. But now, that's just one of the principles. What is the other principle? The other principle is that you treat one another as you want to be treated by them and by God. My, how can you lose with something like that if you use it? Treating one another as you want to be treated by them and by God. Wow. 8 billion people looking after one another just like that. And what makes that possible? Because that same God set it up. That each of these individuals got a gift, something inside that they just love to do, a talent, sing, dance, being an architect, a builder, a skydiver, a dancer, a painter, an actor, carpenter, a mechanic, a lawnmower, digger, toilet mechanic. Man, just think about it. Each of you, each human being on earth got some gift that they just love. And now they have the opportunity to do it, to exercise it. And all of the resources necessary that all of these gifts might be used for whatever they want to be used for are already stashed in the earth, on the earth, above the earth, some seen, some are not. Boy, this magnificent God got it set up so every last one of us can participate in the creative process of everything that exists by the hands of man. And all we had to do was our one job. And that one job entitled us at our will, whatever we need, wanted, or desire, we get it. Why? Because we were owners of it. We were all owners. It all belonged to us. It didn't belong to Ajax. It didn't belong to Standard. It didn't belong to Jack and Jill. It belonged to the people of America and to the people of the world. Oh yes, there was a system that's set up now so harmony we wouldn't have it any other way. There was no chaos. Why? We were going through life with all of our needs, our desires being met. We suffer for nothing. Food, clothing, and shelter, never. Education, unlimited and unrestricted. Health care from the womb to the tomb. And we had the best of everything. Nobody was out trying to make money because money was not used. You see, money was a tool used to deceive people, to make people think that they didn't have to work harmoniously. They didn't have to work caring about one another. They just worked for the money. And when they get the money, they can go ahead on while other folks out there working and do what they want to do. Give them leisure, give them access to be privileged. Exploitation, causing lying and cheating and stealing and killing and terror and war. All of these things come by as an expression of a system that is designed in such a way that you use money to engage people in the process. Well, that's basically what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. This is why when I talk to you about talking to one another, never worry when people say this can't happen. Sure, they're going to say this can't happen. They never heard of it before. And if they did, it was in a movie or just a joke. Nobody would actually think that you can be practical and create heaven on earth, that you can actually live in paradise on earth. No. And that is true, ladies and gentlemen, according to the system that they've been indoctrinated with, according to what they have been taught. They can no more experience paradise on earth than they can speak a foreign language. But you know what? If they study the foreign language, they can learn it. And paradise on earth and peace and prosperity, no, they don't know anything about it, but they can learn it. It's like going to the buffet. When you first go there, especially when you come out from a place where you had to struggle to eat, you go to a buffet, you pay your little money, you just keep going back, especially old country. Man, people who are not familiar with that, they go and they get all kinds of plates. I mean, they just be stacked up. And they be going back often to old country. See, they think that this is something that's going to run out. But having gone back so often, they find out that as often as they go back, the food is still there. Now the food is still fresh when they don't get so much. And then they go back and get seconds, it's fresh and hot. So they start cutting back. And then when they start cutting back, they find out by the time they eat the first serving of something, they just about full. So they don't need that much anymore. You see, now they have learned that there is an abundance. So they don't have to be jumping and rioting and stealing and killing. No, they don't have to do any of this stuff now because they know now, because they engage themselves. Nobody is above anybody here. Everybody are kings, and treat each other as kings. Respect one another as kings of the Almighty God. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm challenging you. Yes, I'm not just talking for my health. I know you don't understand, but I got to give it to you anyway. Donald Trump, you know where he's going, and Republicans have yielded to Donald Trump. Whatever he is about, that's where they're going. The Democrats are not as fast getting there as Donald Trump, but they're getting there nevertheless. And they're all, each of them are taking all of you, the people there. And even those of you who don't want to go with the Democrats or the Republicans, you are on that same old boat called lost yourselves too. That's because that's where you're going if you're not headed to the paradise place. And how do you get to the paradise place? By learning to love. How do you learn to love? By wanting to. Why do you want to? Because you're tired and fed up with not. You get there, and I guarantee you find a way. And when you start reaching out and hungering for it, it'll happen. Also, ladies and gentlemen, you might be lucky enough to run across a guy like me who can share something with you. Now, let me say this before I go. A lot of people hear me talk about God, and they might think that I'm trying to save souls, but like most ministers, they'll tell you they're trying to save souls. I had never told anybody I'm trying to save anybody's soul. Can't even save my own. My mission that has come from the designer is about life. Any God that is worried about an afterlife definitely got to be worried about a life, because an afterlife becomes a life. So this, my friends, is as important as the afterlife. And the things that will keep you out of the afterlife are the same things that is being denied to you here on this life. So if you want to think about an afterlife, you better build it up right here. If you want to think about an afterlife, you better build it up right here. That's for real. So that's what I'm asking you to do. You might be misguided and get in a Republican or a Democrat or Biden or Trump or whatever, but it doesn't really matter who you get in. You just have to change your mind and mean it. And once you change your mind and mean it, then these guys, whoever get in, will recognize who the boss is. The boss is always the people. But now the boss is the people who are the righteous people who stand for everybody with boldness, who have no shame in their game, don't have nothing to bend by, because they know they can stand the test of time, because truth is its own justification and it frees itself. Don't have to worry about that other stuff. And the president and the Congress and those guys who've been up there screwing over the people, that's over, because now we're the people, we're taking back our authority. And anything that they will do is what we have authorized them to do. And what we're further saying is, now we're not asking you to think for us anymore. We're not asking you to plan for us anymore. We're not asking you to strategize for us anymore. We'll do that ourselves. And then we will instruct you on your rule. How about that? How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Doesn't that sound wonderful? Yes, I think it does. It's time we start living for ourselves and one another and stop being used as tools for somebody who just want to be God. There ain't no God that we can see. The only God that is God is invisible. And there ain't a man out there anywhere over me or you. Until next time, this is Marcus saying goodbye.